Okay, so we're on lesson 3.5, day 2. Our example for today says solving a nonlinear system by substitution. So the first equation is a circle and the second one is a line. So step 1 says substitute the second equation for y equals into the first equation. So I'm going to take this information and put it in for y in the first one. So x squared plus parentheses negative 3x plus 10, close parentheses, squared equals 10. Oh, my 10's a little ugly, sorry. Oh, it's just getting worse. So then the next step says FOIL the equation from step 1. So since this has to be squared, we have to FOIL that. And remember that when you're squaring like that, it means you can write it twice. So negative 3x plus 10 times negative 3x plus 10. So then FOIL is multiply first. So negative 3x times negative 3x, which is positive 9x squared. And then the outsides is negative 3x times 10, so negative 30x. Inside is 10 times negative 3x, which is negative 30x again. And then last is 10 times 10, which is 100. So then I'm going to simplify that to 9x squared, and then negative 30x plus negative 30x is negative 60x, and then plus 100. So then it says write in standard form and factors. So I'm going to take this information right here and plug it back in up here to replace that. So I have x squared plus 9x squared minus 60x plus 100 equals 10. And then I'm going to write it in standard form. So that's a x squared plus bx plus c. So I'm going to take the x squared and the 9x squared and put them together. So I have 10x squared minus 60x plus 100. And then I'm going to take that equals 10 and move it to the other side so I can have the c together. So minus 10 minus 10. So now I have 10x squared minus 60x plus 90. So then the next part says solve for x, plug in and find y. So now that we have this quadratic, what we're going to do is divide everything by 10. So 10x squared minus 60x plus 90. Divide everything by 10, and then we'll factor. So then I've got x squared minus 6x plus 9. Let's factor this. We're going to use, you can use your tables if you want. We need to figure out what multiplies to be 9 and adds to be negative 6. So negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9, and then negative 3 plus negative 3 is 6. So we've got x minus 3. So it says to solve for x, so we're going to say x minus 3 equals 0, and then add 3 to both sides. So x is 3. And since both of them are going to be 3, I'm going to just leave it. And then it says, and find y. So now that I have x, I can go back into the beginning and plug it into one of my equations to find y. I think the second one's easier, but that's up to you what you want to do. So I'm going to write y equals negative 3x plus 10. And then I'm going to take the 3 and plug it in. So I've got y equals negative 3 times 3 plus 10. So y equals negative 9 plus 10. So y is 1. And then the last part says write solutions as points. So 3 and then 1. Okay, so now we're going to do some practice with this following the 5-step process that we just did. So the first step is we're going to take what we have here for y and plug it into the other one. So x squared plus the quantity negative x plus 4. squared equals 16. So then now we're going to go to the second step, which is to FOIL. So I'm going to take that piece, negative x plus 4 squared is negative x plus 4 again, multiplied by itself. So I'm going to do that first. So I get first is negative x times negative x, which is positive x squared. Outside is negative x times 4, which is negative 4x. Inside is 4 times negative x, this is negative 4x again. And then last is 4 times 4, which is 16. So then I'm going to simplify that to x squared minus 8x plus 16. And just for highlighting purposes to show you what just happened, this was this part. So I'm going to go back in and replace it. So I have x squared, and then that pink at the top got replaced with plus x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 16. So then the next step after FOILing is step 3, write in standard form and factor. So we need to simplify here. So we have 2x squared minus 8x plus 16 equals 16. And then I'm going to make it look like this, ax squared plus bx plus c, sorry. So I'm going to take away the 16 from both sides to get those c's together. Okay, so now we got 2x squared minus 8x blank equals 0. So this one's a little bit different because you can't factor it the same way that we're used to because we don't have a plus anything. So what I'm going to do here is take out a 2x from this and this. So when I do that, 2x, I'm left with x for the first one because 2x times x is 2x squared. And then for the second one, 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x. And I'm going to set that equal to 0. So that's a little weird. So I got 2x equals 0 is one equation, and x minus 4 equals 0 is my second. So when I solve the first one, divide by 2, I get x is 0. When I solve my second one, add 4, I get x is 4. So what's happening here versus the first one is the first one, we got one answer here. So it kind of looked like this when you're graphing it. Sorry, my graph isn't the best. Then looking here, this graph, since I have two, something like this is happening where the circle and the line are hitting twice. So that's why the answers are different here. So now I've got two different situations, so I'll just use two different colors so you can see them here. When I look back up to the next step of the process, it says plug in and find y. So now I need to take both of these and plug them in separately into one of my top equations. I'm going to just pick the second one because it looks easier. So I'm going to plug in y equals negative x plus 4. Then y equals negative x plus 4. And then for both of them, y equals negative 0 plus 4, y equals negative 4 plus 4. So y equals 4 and y equals 0. So 0, 4, and then 4, 0 are my 2 points. That's step number 5. Number 3, first step is to take this information and plug it in for y. So then I've got x squared plus the quantity 7 minus x squared equals 49. The next step is to FOIL. So I'm going to take this piece and FOIL it. So I've got 7 minus x times 7 minus x represents 7 minus x squared. So FOILing would be first times first. So 7 times 7 is 49. Outside would be 7 times negative x. So negative 7x. Inside is negative x times 7, so again, negative 7x. And then last is negative x times negative x. A negative times a negative is a positive, and x times x is x squared. Be careful about that. X times x is x squared, x plus x is 2x, so careful on that one. So then I want to simplify this right here. So 49 minus 14x plus x squared is going to be the blue part replaced. So now I've got x squared plus 49 minus 14x plus x squared equals 49 from above. So then the next step of the process is to turn it into standard form, so ax squared plus bx plus c. So there's some rearranging definitely to do here. First, I'm going to put the x squareds together, so I have 2x squared. And then I'm going to put the negative 14x next, because that should be where it goes, and then plus 49. And then equals 49. So then in this one, I'm going to take away 49 from both sides to get it equal to 0. So then I have 2x squared minus 14x and then equals 0, because these cancel out again. So this is going to feel a lot like the last one that we did. So I'm going to take out whatever I can, because I can't factor the same way. So I can take out 2x because both of these have a 2x in common. When I do that, what is left in the first one is x, because 2x times x is 2x squared, with negative 7, because 2x times negative 7 is negative 14, x and equals 0. So then I get 2x equals 0 and x minus 7 equals 0. So I'm going to solve both of those. So divide both sides by 2, I get x equals 0, and then add 7, I get x equals 7. So again, in this one, I'm getting two different answers. So now I need to take those two answers and plug that back in to find our answers here, because it's going to look something like this, where I'm hitting twice and not just once like the first one. So I'm going to probably just pick this one to plug back in. So I've got this in the way. Let's plug back in. So y equals 7 minus x, y equals 7 minus x, y equals 7 minus 0, y equals 7 minus 7. So y equals 7, y equals 0. My answer is 0, 7, and then 7, 0. All right, and then the last one. This one is set up a little different because you don't have x equals or y equals, but you can quickly change the second equation into y equals by just adding x to both sides and then going through the same process that we did before. So then I'm going to take this and plug it in for y. So x squared plus x plus 1 squared equals 5. So then I'm going to square this by foiling. So x plus 1 times x plus 1 is x times x, which is x squared. And that would be first. And then outer would be x times 1 is 1x. And I just like to write x by itself and not write a 1. But if you want to write 1x, that's fine. Inside is 1 times x. So again, x again. And then 1 times 1 is last. So that's 1. And then I'm going to simplify, so x squared plus 2x plus 1 represents that inside. So I just highlight it again so you can see what I'm going to replace this piece with that there. So then I write x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 5. So all I did was replace, and now I need to simplify and then get it into ax squared plus bx plus c form, which is standard form. So x squared plus x squared is 2x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 5. So then I'm going to move the 5 over to the other side to get the c together. So now I have 2x squared plus 2x minus 4 equals 0. So this is different than the ones that we just did. So first we're going to divide everything by 2 so we don't have anything in front of the x. So then I've got x squared plus x minus 2 equals 0. And then we're going to factor using our normal factoring that we had been doing before. So what multiplies to be negative 2 but adds to be 1? So it's going to be, the only options are 2 and 1. We want it to be a positive 2 and a negative 1 because 2 minus 1 is positive 1, and then 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So then I'm going to split it up into x minus 1 equals 0 and x plus 2 equals 0 and solve both of them separately. So this is telling me that if I were to look at the graph, the circle and line are going to hit twice because I'm getting two separate answers here. So then once I've done that, I've got my two answers and I need to find the y values for them. So then I'm going to use the easiest equation from above, which I think is this one right here, y equals x plus 1, and use that to help me solve for y. So then y equals 1 plus 1, and then y equals 2 plus 1. So y equals 2, and y equals 3. So 1, 2 is one of the points, and also 2, 3.